Welcome back to Only Talk Sports, where we talk sports every single day, or at least we try to. I'm your host, Jeffrey, and subscribe to this channel if you like sports content. Hit that notification bell so you never miss another video. Now, the NFL in Week 2, there was some crazy results, and let's break each game down and see what happened. The Chiefs on Thursday night, they beat the Chargers 27-24. Justin Herbert played fantastic. He got banged up late in the game, but he played fantastic. He had the one pick on miscommunication. He had 3 touchdowns. He threw for 334 yards. Patrick Mahomes played fantastic. He had 235 yards and 2 touchdowns, and they had a lot of yards on the ground. But the Chiefs, it looked like they might lose until that pick 6 happened. If that pick 6 hadn't happened, the Chargers might have won this game. But the Chiefs, they moved to 2-0, and the Chargers are now 1-1. But the Chargers are still going to be a good team. It's kind of like the commentators said, the Chiefs have a tougher schedule, so it might have actually helped the Chiefs out that they won, and the Chargers are going to be fine. The Patriots beat the Steelers 17-14. Both teams are now 1-1. Mac Jones, he threw for 252 yards, a touchdown, and a pick, so he's fine after having an illness in practice. And Damian Harris at 71 on the ground and a touchdown. Mitch Trubisky, who a lot of people want bench, but I mean he threw for 168 yards, a touchdown, and a pick, so not fantastic. But the Patriots did win. The Patriots were losing, but they came back and won the game. The Giants beat the Panthers 19-16. The Giants are 2-0. For the first time since 2016, which is crazy when Eli Manning was still there. And the Panthers are now 0-2. The Panthers should be 2-0, but they blew both games. Baker Mayfield only had 145 yards passing and a touchdown. McCaffrey had 102, but most of it was on one carry. The Giants, Daniel Jones threw for 176 and a touchdown, so not a lot. But again, the Giants are now 2-0, which is crazy to see because the Giants, like I said, have not been 2-0 in a long time. The Jets beat the Browns 31-30. And the New York Jets, Joe Flacco, almost looking like he was back at the Baltimore Ravens. He threw for 307 yards and 4 touchdowns on 26 of 44 passing. And Jacoby Brissett for the Browns, he threw for 229, a touchdown, a pick. And the Jets were losing, but they came back and won. Good win for the Jets. Maybe the Jets might be a little bit better this year. The Jaguars, they beat the Colts 24-0. If the Jaguars are beating you 24-0, that is not good because the Jaguars have not been good in a long time. Matt Ryan not looking like himself. He threw 3 picks, 195-yard passing, and Trevor Lawrence, he threw for 235 yards and 2 touchdowns, but unfortunately, again, for the Colts, they do not look good at all, and they are now 0-1-1 because they had the tie last week. The Dolphins 42, the Ravens 38. This was a fantastic game because the Dolphins were down big. They were down like 35-14, and then they came back and won. Tua Tagovailoa, he had 469 yards passing and 6 touchdowns and 2 picks. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are fantastic. Both had 2 touchdowns and over 170 yards. Both getting Tyreek Hill takes so much pressure off Jalen Waddle, and you can't stop both. So the Dolphins could be really good this year. They're 2-0. On the Ravens side, Lamar Jackson, he did throw for 318 yards and 3 touchdowns, but they were winning, but they gave the game away at the end to the Dolphins. The Buccaneers, they beat the Saints 20-10. The Buccaneers, Tom Brady only had 190 yards passing and a touchdown, and Jameis Winston had 236 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 picks. Winston is unfortunately a turnover machine. Tom Brady didn't even have to do much, and he finally got his first win over the Saints as an NFL quarterback, which is crazy to think about, but they don't play the Saints that often. The Lions, they got their first win. The Detroit Lions beat the Washington Commanders 36-27. Carson Wentz had 337 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 pick, so he played good. But the Lions put up 36 points and had 4 touchdowns with Jared Goff. He had 256 yards, so again, maybe the Lions are actually going to be better this year. We'll see. The 49ers beat the Seahawks 27-7, and I'm going to say it right now for the 49ers. I'm very sad that Trey Lance got hurt, and I hope he's okay. But as I said in my video talking about Jimmy Garoppolo, the 49ers need to go with Jimmy Garoppolo because I said that if you go with Trey Lance, you're not going to make the playoffs. If you go with Jimmy Garoppolo, you're going to make the playoffs. And now the 49ers might have a chance to actually make the playoffs now because Trey Lance is unfortunately hurt. I hate it for Trey Lance, but again, Jimmy Garoppolo needs to be the starting quarterback for the 49ers, and you see what happens. He threw for 154 and a touchdown, but they won 27-7 over the Seahawks. Geno Smith had 197 yards and a pick, but again, the 49ers, they need Jimmy Garoppolo. The Los Angeles Rams, they beat the Atlanta Falcons 31-27. Marcus Mariota had 2 touchdowns and 2 picks, so not great. And Matthew Stafford, he had 3 touchdowns and 2 picks. He's been kind of turnover prone lately on passes, especially now that they don't have Odell Beckham. Cooper Kupp's still there, but again, you need 2 great receivers because you can't guard 2 receivers, but you can guard 1. But the Rams are now 1-1, and the Falcons are 0-2, unfortunately for them. You got the Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals beat the Bears 29-23. This was a fantastic game. Hunter Renfrow fumbled it in overtime, and they took it all the way back. The Cardinals didn't win, and then at the end, obviously before overtime, Kyler Murray got a touchdown and the 2. But what a game. Kyler Murray had 277 yards, touchdown, a pick. Derek Carr had 252 yards and 2 touchdowns. But this was a fantastic game. The Cardinals, they moved to 1-1, and the Raiders are now 0-2. So unfortunately for the Raiders, it's not looking too good for them. You got the Denver Broncos. They had 16, and the Houston Texans had 9. The Broncos, they only had a touchdown and a pick with Russell Wilson, 219 yards, and the Houston Texans had 177 yards, no touchdowns or picks with Davis Mills. But the Broncos got the win. The Texans are not looking like they're a good team either. You got the Dallas Cowboys 20, the Cincinnati Bengals 17. Joe Burrow had 199 yards and a touchdown, and Cooper Rush had 235 yards and a touchdown. He filled in admirably without Dak. It did kind of look like, though, that Dallas was going to lose because they were up, and then they let Cincinnati come all the way back to tie, but they did get the win, so Jerry Jones should be happy there. And now the Bengals are 0-2, and the Cowboys are 1-1, so the Bengals are going to have to get things figured out after going to the Super Bowl. The Packers beat the Bears 27-10. The Packers are 1-1, and the Bears are 1-1. The Bears did not look good in this game at all. Fields only had 70 yards, Justin Fields, and a pick, and Aaron Rodgers had 234 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Bears looked awful, and it kind of shows that maybe that win in the rain against the 49ers was a fluke for them. Hopefully not. Buffalo Bills 41, Tennessee Titans 7. This game right here was a complete blowout. The Tennessee Titans looked terrible, unfortunately. Derrick Henry's not getting any yards on the ground. Ryan Tannehill threw 2 picks, and Josh Allen had 4 touchdown passes and 317 yards. You're not stopping that. The Tennessee Titans are not looking like a good team. And the last game on Monday night was the Philadelphia Eagles won over the Minnesota Vikings 24-7. The Eagles are 2-0, and the Vikings are 1-1. Kirk Cousins had 1 touchdown and 3 picks, 221 yards, and Jalen Hurts had 333 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 pick, and he had 2 touchdowns on the ground. Jalen Hurts played his best game in his NFL career, his young NFL career, and the Eagles won. And like I said, the Eagles are now 2-0, so they're looking a lot better. So that was the result, all the results in NFL Week 2. It was a good week. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens in Week 3 and which teams continue to win and which teams continue to lose. Subscribe to the channel for more sports content. Like this video down below. Comment down below what you thought about the NFL in Week 2 and what were the biggest results and surprises and upsets. And I will see you next time.